I, a teen male, have a part-time job, and recently my grandparents gave me some money. The reason for the money is simple. My parents prioritize my younger sister, young teen, and their foster kids, tweens, over me, and their money and time get prioritized on them. My parents have been long-term foster parents for about 7 years now. Before then, my parents really just focused on my sister. My grandparents always noticed. They tried to make up for it when multiple talks with my parents went badly. The money, which was a lot of money before, they gave to me to buy myself a new bed. My older one was old and broken and getting loud, so with my grandparents' help, I bought a new one. My parents knew about the money because my sister saw our grandparents give it to me. My parents were so mad at me because they told me I knew they were saving up for my sister to get clear braces for her teeth, and I could have helped a lot. I told them I didn't want to help with that they wouldn't help me if I needed them. They told me that's the thing with being the oldest, and most oldest kids don't sulk about it like me. They tried to make me return the bed and get the money, but I refused. My grandparents and parents ended up in a fight over it. My sister called me an idiot and said that it's not fair that I get a cool new bed, and she stuck with hers. She said she deserved more stuff than me, and I called her a spoiled brat and told her to leave me alone. My parents said that I was selfish to my core. Am I the idiot for spending my money on a new bed versus letting it go towards my sister's braces? I knew my parents were saving for my sister to get them. They'd saved some, but not all. Some stuff has been cut back on to afford it. Clear braces, my Aunt Fanny. Girl better settle for a mouthful of metal like most kids her age. Not the idiot. Ask your parents why the only impartial observers in all of this, your grandparents, felt their favoritism was so overt they tried to stage an intervention. Of course, people like your parents probably won't listen to reason. Just know that you're in the right and not being remotely selfish. But OMG, sis needs clear braces because she might get picked on. Your sister doesn't need clear braces. That's a cosmetic thing. The usual ones will cost less and do the same. Clear braces are way more expensive than the bulky metal ones. If they insist on clear braces, that's where their priority is. I hope these parents enjoy the rest of their lives with only one child. A good bed is to prevent health issues. We spend about a third of our lives sleeping. Cut off all the price tags and labels that you can and put them through a shredder. That way, the bed cannot be returned while you're in school. I'd also consider writing your name on the side of the mattress in Sharpie. It's not your job to pay for your sister to have the fancier version of braces. That responsibility falls solely on your parents. For goodness sake, you bought a bed, a basic need. That's nuts. A bed isn't a frivolous spending. Remind them that they're legally obligated to care for you while you're underage. If they refuse, you can file for emancipation and live with your grandparents, if they're willing. There is no need to be angry or threatening when you speak to them. Just state it as a matter of fact. You deserve to be loved and cared for. Thankfully, you have your grandparents if your parents won't do their job. Are you able to go live with your grandparents? My parents would never let that happen, despite them not caring about me as much. I think they'd rather me be unhappy with them than happy elsewhere. And it's not my grandparents who wouldn't let me live with them, but in my state, my wishes will not be taken into account. My grandparents do save money for me. They know my parents only have savings for my sister, so they started one for me, so I'd have something. But they also want to ensure that I'm not growing bitter and resentful for having way less, hence the money gift that they gave me, and helping me buy the bed. My mom turned 60 last week, and I took her out to dinner to celebrate. It was her, me, 21 female, my girlfriend, 22, and my mom's best friend. I also spent most of that day with her, shopping, etc. During dinner, she talked about how my half-siblings should have come. I told her she had the option to invite them if she wanted them there, but I couldn't and wouldn't make contact with them. Couldn't because I have no contact info for them, and we're not social media friends. They wouldn't because it's been very clear they want no contact with me. To explain why, my mom was happily married to my half-sibling's dad, and they were a happy family. Then he died. My half-siblings were 12 and under at that time. Mom ended up in a cycle of quick marriages that ended just as fast, and almost 5 years later, I was born from one of the failed marriages. My half-siblings didn't see me as a sibling or as a member of their family. They have always viewed me as an accident, as someone who should never have existed. They did not want me to exist. They didn't want another reminder that their dad was gone and mom was throwing herself at all kinds of men. They wanted a neater family where all the siblings had the same two parents. My sharing only mom was less neat. It was more complicated. I didn't have much to do with the oldest. He stopped coming around once the other two moved out of the house. But before that, he'd come and he ignored me. I got used to it. The other two were close to each other, and because of the age gap too, I was the outsider. It was rough being on the outside when I was small. My mom was never very stable or steady. According to mom's best friend, the death of her husband would always be the death of the woman and mom she was. She loved him, but she found she never loved or found happiness after him. Each new husband was a distraction at best. My contact with my half-siblings lessened over time. They're not very close to mom either, but they check in on her from time to time. They speak to her occasionally. They send cards and stuff for birthdays and Christmas though, for her and not me. I attempted to make contact when I moved out by sending a follow-up request on social media, but they never accepted. That was it. So back to the birthday dinner. I had told mom ahead of time and told her if she wanted my half-siblings there, she'd need to invite them herself. She didn't. Then during dinner, she kept saying how I should reach out, how we should be close. I should have invited them and all kinds of stuff like that. I told her they wanted nothing to do with me and could she please drop it. She kept pushing, and especially on the topic of my relationship with them. We all tried to change the subject. When she wouldn't let it go, my girlfriend and I left early without finishing because I was done. My mom was crying down the phone to me the next day and the day after that, asking how I could leave her. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. She repeatedly harassed you when told not to. Instead of enjoying what you were doing for her, she decided to make it about something else. Your mom's a grown woman who needs to start taking responsibility for her own emotions and actions. Is there a chance she bugs your half-siblings too, and that's why contact is minimal? Not that it would change anything, just curious if she's an equal opportunity harasser. No, I don't think so. I think she loves them too much to pester them like that. I think the biggest driving force of the low contact is that they don't want to be around me or remember that I exist. And since I lived at home longer, they didn't want to risk that they might have to hear me or talk to me. I think she loves them too much to pester them like that. Gee, shouldn't she love you just as much? Maybe ask her about it and tell her that that's the problem. Playing favorites on who to harass and not choosing the ones that caused the entire situation is damaging. I am so sorry your mom is so emotionally stunted. You tried to do a nice thing for her birthday, spend time with her, and how she treated you like you were invisible didn't matter. It's just despicable. I, 25 female, have always been close to my stepmom, Linda, 50 female, my half-sister at Emma, teen female. My mom passed away when I was young, and Linda's been like a second mom to me since she married my dad, 56 male, when I was 6. We were a tight-knit family, or so I thought. Recently, I was home visiting for the weekend. My dad was out running errands, and I decided to do some cleaning to surprise Linda. When tidying up my dad's office, I found a hidden drawer in his desk. Inside, I discovered a second phone and some letters and photos of my dad with another woman and a young boy who looked about 5 years old. The woman in the photos looked shockingly young and probably not much older than me. It was jarring to see my dad, who's in his late 50s, and with someone who could easily be mistaken for his daughter. I was shocked and confused. I took the phone and the letters to Linda and Emma. Linda was devastated, and Emma was in tears. We decided to confront my dad when he got home. When my dad returned, we presented the evidence. He couldn't deny it. He admitted he had been having an affair for the past 6 years, and that the boy in the photos was his son. Linda was heartbroken and kicked him out of the house immediately. Emma was furious and refused to speak to him. Since then, my dad's been trying to reach out to us, but we've all been ignoring his calls and messages. He's been staying with his girlfriend and their son. Our family's in chaos. Linda's considering divorce and Emma's struggling with the betrayal. I've cut off all contact with my dad. My grandparents and other relatives are pressuring me to forgive him and saying that he's still my father and that people make mistakes. To make matters worse, my dad's girlfriend reached out to me on social media saying that she had no idea he was married and that she feels just as betrayed. I know she's probably lying about this because how come she found this out when we did? She wants to meet and talk. I've scheduled a meeting with her. I feel torn. On one hand, he is my dad, and I know people aren't perfect, but on the other hand, he lied to us for years and hurt us deeply. Linda and Emma are my family too, and I don't want to betray them by forgiving him too easily. Am I the idiot for cutting off my dad? Not the idiot. Dad's a grown person and he should have ended his current marriage before getting into an affair and having a child with another woman. I wouldn't meet the affair partner. It's kind of weird that she had no idea that he was married. She never went to his house, and she didn't think that was a red flag. It is really, really likely that this is just a setup to surprise you with your dad, or she'll bring your half-brother to manipulate you. I wouldn't trust this woman. She wouldn't reach out if she didn't want something. The mistress is definitely lying. I mean, there's no way she didn't ask questions like, why is he gone all the time? She had a flipping child with this man for 5 years, and she didn't ask why he wasn't around more? She's absolutely full of crap. She's so lying. 6 years? And she seriously thought he was a traveling salesman? Sure, Jan. A 6-year affair isn't a mistake by any sense of the word. A mistake is a one-time thing. Years long means it was a conscious choice, each and every time. It's not just the cheating, though. He's lied to all of you, each and every day, for the last 6 years. And if he hadn't been caught, he'd still be hiding this. Utter betrayal doesn't even begin to cover this. He would still be hiding his mistake if he hadn't been caught. Really let that one marinate for a while. No matter what you decide, not the idiot. Good luck, sweetie. My brother has a young teen son, Jamie. My brother and Jamie's mom were married, but she left him when Jamie was an infant for another man. She also chose to leave Jamie behind, and he never had contact with her or anyone in her extended family. This was not a great surprise. My brother's relationship and marriage to Jamie's mom was not good. They were so bad for each other and fought constantly. My parents took Jamie for a year, and my brother got himself together and then took him back. In the time that followed, my brother married and divorced twice more, had 6 live-in relationships, and had a daughter with another woman with whom he had a very brief fling. My brother met my current sister-in-law 18 months ago. They got married because she got pregnant and sped through the relationship, including introducing her and Jamie. Jamie is not interested in his newest sister-in-law or his new half-sibling at all. My brother and sister-in-law tried including him in the pregnancy. They tried to get some photos of them plus my brother's daughter during the pregnancy and initially after sister-in-law gave birth. But Jamie was very clearly there against his will. He didn't want to help pick names. He also went to a friend's house the afternoon that my brother was planning to bring him and his daughter, who he has 1 weekend a month custody of, to meet the baby in the hospital. Jamie rarely talks to sister-in-law. She has to drag the words out of him, according to her and my brother. He refused to help her during the pregnancy and ignored my brother's request that he check in on her after school while she's on partial bed rest during the later stages of her pregnancy. He went straight to his friend's house after school instead. My sister-in-law overheard Jamie tell a friend she's not family, and he's just waiting for them to get divorced and for his dad to move on to the next woman. He said he'd prefer his dad to date outside the house all the time, but at least he's beyond the point of caring about any of them or trying to know them. She told my brother, and my brother was furious and grounded Jamie and told him he needed to start treating their family like family. He acts like it's only the 2 of them, but he has 2 siblings. The grounding was extended when Jamie said half-siblings, not siblings, and they're not real siblings either. Sister-in-law was present when my brother mentioned all of this to me and the consequences. He was so mad at Jamie. I could see the anger. I told them that he was being too hard on Jamie, given the history with relationships and wives. It's no surprise Jamie feels like he does, and he should try giving it time and proving Jamie wrong rather than punishing him. My brother told me to shut the heck up. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. This poor kid has seen his dad bring dozens of women in and out of his life. Is it any surprise that he expects this one to leave too? Your brother constantly involving his son in his flings and relationships is not healthy for Jamie. Introducing mother figures repeatedly is not fair to Jamie at all, and it's valid that he wants to keep out of it. Poor kid should be in therapy for all of this. For his sake, I hope sister-in-law and brother work out so he can have some consistency in his life for a change. When you're on woman number 9 in 12 years, expecting to be the one and stick around is asinine at best. OP, ask your brother to keep it in his pants and stop making babies he has no intention of taking care of. Ask him to get a vasectomy so as not to fill this world further with unwanted kids. Be there for Jamie because he will inevitably take the brunt of his dad's stupidity when the relationship breaks down again and there's yet another kid no one wants to be responsible for. My husband Sam, 39 male, and I, 39 female, are celebrating our 20th wedding anniversary via inviting our family members for dinner. We decided we just wanted to be surrounded by the people we love. I love my sister Charlotte, 35 female, very much. However, her wife Kate, 38 female, has never really fit in with our family. We all love and respect her, of course, but just for context, most of the misfit stems from her being a conservative lawyer and marrying into our super liberal family. Now, I usually would definitely invite Kate to this event, along with Charlotte and their kids. However, during our last family dinner at my parents' house, she made rude comments about my 18-year-old identifying as non-binary. Kate insisted that she's still a she, that this whole thing is made up. She ultimately stopped her comments by Charlotte's intervention, but I doubt her views have changed. Now, because of how she insulted my kid and how hypocritical I think it is of her to be married to a woman and still say these things, I decided not to invite her and only invite my sister and their kids. Ever since the invitations have been sent, Charlotte is very mad and said she would not attend the party, nor would her kids, unless I apologize and invite Kate too. I explained how her behavior affected my kids and how they were very deeply hurt, and I pointed out how Kate never apologized. Charlotte is usually a sensible person, but I would be lying if I said Kate's behavior hasn't rubbed off on her a bit. My parents agree with me. Sam agrees with me. But some family members insist I shouldn't be so hard on Kate. Was what I did an idiot move? So she's conservative and is in a same-gender marriage and seems to have issues with your child? Wow, that's just special. Not the idiot. Kate was rude to your child and therefore shouldn't expect to see another invitation from you until she apologizes to everyone involved. Yep, wow, that's a wild ideological ride. Tell your sister that your main priority is to protect your child and family from her bigoted wife, and that the event is a celebration of that family, so you don't want someone like Kate to taint the day. Then tell Charlotte that she and the kids will be missed. If Kate wants to be a hateful bigot, then she and Charlotte have to live with the consequences. Congratulations on your anniversary.